Okay, guys, here's the watch list for Tuesday. Remember, it's a shortened week. The market's closed on Friday, so 3 days left in the week. I want to watch DGLY, very nice little spike. Remember, we were watching this post-earnings, came back down, held support, and then today started to creep up. I think I read the news was Rand Paul introducing legislation to do with body cameras on police officers. I thought a little clip of that was, Democrats have already introduced these bills as the first Republican to do so. I don't know if that's true, whatever, but that could certainly have some follow through on DGLY. So I want to watch that one. It's a nice mover at times. BIOC, this is obscure, but had this huge move back here. And it's been grinding lower a lot like Gene, which we'll talk about in a minute because I had a great trade in Gene today. But kind of reminds me of Gene's action, huge move and then just falls off into nothing. But switching to 15-minute candles, you see a little bit of extra volume today. Maybe 60 show it better, I'm not sure. Nope, 15 show it better. So it's just no volume at all in this whole downtrend, and now you can see a little bit of a pickup in volume. So I want to watch this. Maybe this thing bottomed today, and we might have a follow-through day tomorrow. I don't love it, but I want to have it on watch. RKUS, let's just draw a line here. Not that hard to see. The 13 area, you kind of have a cup and handle and decent volume today. So this one might break out over 13 tomorrow. Not in love with that one either, but did have a little volume spike today. I want to watch Gene again. Gene, I was really, I don't know what the word is. I really kept putting this one out in chat that I like this on so many different levels as the day was unfolding. I probably showed this chart 10 times because it looks so good. Like on 60s, it's hard to see now, but I think even like an hour into the session, I said, guys, this is breaking a trend line. It's got great volume. This is what it looked like, 1 hour in. So it's that, even before that, probably 30 minutes in, and I'll show you in a second how we called it as a gap play. Even 30 minutes in, I think you can see it as breaking the trend line. You could tell it was going to have great relative volume today. Look at that spike in the opening half hour, and it just kept going up. Now, my original call on it, we spotted this one in the pre-market as a potential gapper. And so these are 2-minute candles. Very nice volume, over 100,000 in the opening 2 minutes. Sellers came in. As soon as these sellers fail, I knew I wanted in. Called this at 412 when it looked like this with a 399 stop. I had taken my eyes off of it when it started to come down, thinking, okay, well, maybe this isn't going to go today. And one of our members, Baller Dave, kind of chat slapped me, so to speak, and said, hey, what about Gene? And it put it right back on my radar because I was already looking at something else. And so it was already back up here at like 407, 408. And I said, guys, he's right. I like Gene at 412. So, that's just a testament to the teamwork in there. I might have missed that, and the room might have missed that if I didn't get chat slapped by Baller Dave. So I called it at 412 with a 399. And you can see what it did then. Massive volume came in, and this thing went all the way up and closed. Let me switch to 5s now. It's closed at its highs. Somewhere when it looked about like this, I said this is a potential gapper now, guys. It's looking good for the close. And after hours, it's at 511 right now. So there you go. There's proof. I want to watch that one. I don't want to say tomorrow feels like chasing, but with this move from $1 to $11 and just nothing really happened since, today's going to get some attention. So I really want to watch that for the next several days going forward. But we might get like a gap down and a red to green by the time the market opens. So anything can happen. Definitely want to have Gene on watch the rest of this week. Was a really nice trade this morning, though. DYN, Dynegy, nice volume spike today, up into recent highs here at $31-ish. So, but this one might be a follow-through. It definitely sold off from 31 down here, but this is a big volume spike. So you get over 31 with some conviction, and it might continue. And I do like the fact that it kind of hit its intraday high in the morning and then spent the rest of the day kind of consolidating, pulling back. So that makes a break of 31, sometime tomorrow a little more enticing than if it had just run all day straight up. In other words, it's had some time to consolidate. That is DYN. JMEI is next. All right. Just another red day. This one I had on bounce watch because it broke out here, and now this is the 4th day down in a row. Almost hit the 20-day. I I don't, this is just going to be on bounce watch. A pretty good, this could have been a flush right here. Right here where you kind of got that downside shape on volume. This could have been flushing out the rest of the, the rest of the short or the rest of the sellers, and this one might be up from here if it kind of holds. I'm going to go back to 5. So if it kind of holds this flush, doesn't take out that, and it did consolidate in the afternoon. So this one might be a decent potential bounce play tomorrow. This one really moves at times. So JMEI goes on bounce watch, but if you've seen my videos, I don't have a trigger price based on the daily chart on bounce plays. I watch them unfold the next day and then make a call based on if it's given me a proper setup. All right, XON. I want to watch this one. This was a gap play, and it never triggered for a long. And actually, this one runs with ZIOP, and I'll show you ZIOP in a second. But this one, a lot of times you get a gap up. It had really nice volume, and this one moves really big at times too. Sometimes, and I say this in a lot of my videos, sellers get a hold of it, and then the next day it runs. So I do want to watch XON, and I'll show you that ZIOP real quick. This was gapping up with XON. We identified both of them in the pre-market. Michael N., one of our moderators, identified both of them as potential fades on the gaps up. And this, both of them were gapping up into some supply. And Michael N., I'll go to just 1 minute candles, literally called this, when it shot up here, called it right back down when it got below the opening price here at 13.16 as a short. And look at that. That was just a great call. So we had that one on watch for a gap fade, and then we had GENE on watch for a gap and go. Both of them worked out great, and I was telling everybody, guys, don't overtrade. If you get a couple trades like that, that should be all you need. I literally log in every day hoping to find 1 or 2 nice trades. So if I can give a newer trader any advice, or even some longer time traders that are struggling, don't overtrade. Be vigilant about stalking those 1 or 2 setups that you love. Make your money and go about your business. Don't spend the afternoon giving back your morning gains, because the afternoons, and I'll show you as the SPY real quick. I'll give you an example. You see this nice move in the SPY in the opening. These are 5 minute candles. So you see that nice move in the opening 20, 25, 30 minutes. Then it pulls back, and then it literally goes into like a 5-hour grind where it's in this channel. It's kind of grinding higher, but I mean, if you look at it, the early high was 208.10. That was about 30 minutes in. Then about 3 hours later, it was 208.14. I mean, that's the kind of, so you've got to be there for the open and play those decent opening moves. That's where the easy money. I don't want to say easy because the market's never easy, but that's where that's where you're going to make most of your money if you know the right setups and you know how to trade the open. Okay. Then you go into this grind, and this is where I see a lot of people over trading. When the market's just in this grind, you've got to have what I call high volume anomalies, something that's standing out, something that's doing something on its own. It's ignoring the SPY, it's doing its own thing. But you got to be really careful not to overtrade these afternoons, because a lot of them just go into that grind. Let's see where I left off. XON. So I'm watching XON. I'll go back one more time for a potential long tomorrow. Again, a lot of people look at that and say it has the gap to fill. I wouldn't argue with them. I'm only looking for a certain setup, and if I get it, this one might give a nice long move tomorrow. If not, I just won't trade it, right? I mean, if it doesn't give me the right setup. VBLT, it gapped up here and took off, and then gapped down the next day, which is, that's pretty bearish because you got a lot of longs trapped. But now you're 3 days lower. You just hit the 20-day. And you could argue you're in the middle of a range from like 8 to a little over 3, and you're getting down near the middle of that range. Maybe you're looking at a gap fill here, but I do want to start watching VBLT for a potential gap play, because this one was a great trade about 4 sessions ago, and now after 3 days lower, it's starting to get exciting again for a potential bounce. And then kind of obscure one here, ORMP. It just made that huge move. And if you watched the video the day after this move, I said I definitely want to have this on my radar, but not really the next day. I'd like to see it come in for a few days. Well, now we've got 4 days. It's really holding this 610, 620 area for 4 days in a row now. And so it seems to get buyers down here, and now you've got a narrow range today. So this is a good candidate for a potential sneak attack move higher again tomorrow. So it's also on radar. I'm going to leave my list at that, and we will find stuff to add as far as morning gappers again, which we try to identify some potential stocks to fade the gaps every morning and potential gaps and gap and goes, I guess you'd say. And that's generally where, to me, I don't want to say the easy money, but that's generally where you can make the quickest money if you're right. And then you've got to look for some anomalies the rest of the day. So anyway, I do like this list, but make sure that, especially as the week goes on, you are there and ready to trade in the morning, because the afternoons are going to be, I think, kind of choppy, boring, low volume, and with the market being closed on Friday, I expect kind of a low volume week. So you really got to be there, coffee in your system, ready to go at the opening bell. All right, I'll quit babbling. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.